All right, guys, welcome to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live talk show. This is episode number 20 or number 46. Sorry, got a little rough start here tonight. Number 46 on the talk show we're doing tonight. Welcome to the show, guys. You can visit our web address at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. Check that out. If you guys haven't been on our website, definitely check out our website. And we are going to have a pretty good show tonight. We're going to be talking about our Waverly Hills Sanatorium investigation. So hang in there. We're going to talk about all the things that happened to us, all the things that we debunked, and the controversy that it stirred as always. So when we debunk things, people get pissed off. So we're going to be talking about all that tonight. We're used to it by now. You can check out our email address at illinoishauntings@gmail.com if you guys want to send us an email regarding any type of activity you may be experiencing inside your home or business or any other location. Definitely send us an email at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. We try to answer all emails as quick as possible. You can also send us a message directly on our Facebook page if you do not want to email us. We are going live tonight from facebook.com, and our Facebook address is facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. You can also find us out there on YouTube. If you prefer the YouTube platform, definitely check that out and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters, and give us a like on there and subscribe to our page. We're also on Instagram, instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters. Tonight's music, as always, tonight by the Midnight Syndicate, used with permission. So definitely check those guys out, guys. MidnightSyndicate.com is their website. There we go. Fun is popping up on there. Check out MidnightSyndicate.com if you want to, view their music for gothic horror style music, if you're into that kind of thing. And we are going to get into tonight's show, guys, and talk about our recent investigations at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. And we're going to talk about several things tonight, several, factors, that are involved in making a place legitimately haunted, several factors that make a place legitimately, I don't want to say, debunkable, but this effect that causes people to psychologically think that paranormal occurrences are taking place in their home or buildings like Waverly Hills Sanatorium when they might not be. We're going to be talking about the mindset and the psychology behind paranormal investigating and people themselves and how different people experience different things and why do different people experience different things on the same investigation. So we're going to get into a lot of that tonight. We're going to get into a lot of debunking. We're going to talk about, some of the places we've debunked in the past, some of the big places we've debunked in the past. And like I say, when we debunk things, people get pissed. They want their place to be haunted. They want their place to be the most haunted place in the world. That's what makes them money, and that's what brings in the tourists and the attractions. When the team comes in and says, hey, we didn't find anything, they get mad. And it's ridiculous. And we're going to talk about all that tonight. So, but we're going to start out with, just going straight into our Waverly investigation. Try to get my comments popped up here so I can see who all's out there in Facebook land tonight. Looks like we got a full house again. And I'm going to be straight out harsh tonight, guys, with some of these people that are messaging us because we debunk things. So I apologize if I offend anybody out there, but I'm going to tell it how it is tonight. That's how we always do it. We don't give you guys any icing on the cake about these locations we investigate. We tell you straight out how it was, if we experienced anything, if we didn't experience anything, and if there were any red flags, which we're going to talk about tonight. And unfortunately, a lot of these buildings do have what we consider red flags when we go to investigate. But I'm going to get into that. So hang on. It's going to be a good show. And like I say, we're going to talk about all the things that happened. So on November the 16th, you guys obviously know the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society investigated Waverly Hills Sanatorium. And I apologize in some of my videos we done that night, I was calling it sanitarium. There is a difference, and I'm just so used to investigating sanitariums that I automatically call it sanitarium. So I apologize if I slipped tonight. It's just a slip of the tongue. I do know the difference. A sanatorium is basically for the sick, that held the sick during a pandemic or epidemic, where they had a building, they called it a sanatorium, where a sanitarium was more geared toward the mentally insane. So there's a difference between a sanitarium and a sanatorium. But we've investigated so many sanitariums, we've dealt with a lot of locations where the mentally insane have been, kept and held, and we've investigated a lot of those locations. So I apologize if I slipped tonight, but I slipped a couple times on our live and called it a sanitarium. It is a sanatorium. Just want to get that out there. But anyway, straight to the point here, guys. We investigated the sanatorium, Waverly Hills, on November 16th. If you guys watched our live feed, I'm sure you guys, seen part of our investigation. We get there and, it's locked up. There's a gate. I think it was called Gate B we had to go into. So we pull up. They tell us, we're a little early, wouldn't let us in there for a while. So we went and hung out, went and ate, and came back to the location. And we go in, finally to investigate the location. And as always, there's a guide that shows us around. He takes us around to the places, gives us a little history, gives us the hot spots of the location because we've never been there before. Obviously, we don't know the building. And for security purposes and safety purposes, they have to have a guide somewhere staffed in the building at a lot of these locations, even though they don't go with us throughout the building. He sits there in his little room, watches on the monitor. But that's the way it is at a lot of locations, including us when we do haunted tours. I conduct haunted tours myself. I've been conducting haunted tours for over, 20 years now. I've been doing haunted tours of all kinds of different buildings, locations, from the Fife Opera House in Palestine, Illinois, to the old Spook House in Robinson, to, the Masonic Lodge, Methodist Village, Pine Lawn Manor, our basic haunted tours. I've been being a haunted tour guide for years as well. So it's like, I know when people are being weird. And we pull up there, and just right off the bat, this guy's the guy that was going to take us through is real standoffish, you tell he just, I don't know, didn't want to be there or something. But the big red flag that started off right when we pull up is, we go in, we check out the location, and he tells us, we can only go out to our vehicles one time to get our stuff to bring our equipment back in. And then we're locked in the building and we cannot go outside the rest of the night. I have never been to any location where they lock you in the building and say you cannot go to your vehicle the rest of the night. I investigated a lot of places all over the United States, from the Stanley Hotel to Ashmore Estates to places in Florida to, Mansfield Reformatory, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, Pennhurst Asylum in Pennsylvania. I mean, the list goes on. And Whisper Estates, Willow's Weep, we investigate a lot of locations. I have never been told that we cannot look outside or go outside after the investigation starts. Kind of a red flag, I thought. It's like, whatever, maybe it's some type of security deal and it's just their deal. I don't like that because I like to debunk things. When I hear things outside, I go outside and I try to debunk them. I was unable to get permission to go outside to debunk anything because they said we couldn't go outside. And there was alarms on all the doors of Waverly Hills. So if you touch them, well, the main alarm's going out. They will set off an alarm. And they wouldn't allow us to see their security camera systems, which is kind of normal. That's not really a red flag. I mean, that's a safety issue. They don't want the whole general world and public knowing, what cameras they've got where and what they're looking at outside, I assume, in case people try to break in. I mean, I'm not saying that was a complete red flag. Not being able to go outside and debunk things to me is a red flag, which will come later on in my story. A big thing happened to me and Courtney that I think could have highly been debunked and possibly caught the staff faking things if I would have been allowed access outside. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But what happened is, we did our investigation. It was pretty cool. We had several of our team members there and myself, Jareth. And guys, I apologize. Jareth is just learning the camera right now. I've tried to make him my cameraman. on the startup of Waverly Hills, you can hear him talking. He hasn't figured out how to hit the go button and not talk yet. So I apologize for that, but we're working on him, I promise. So Dickerson used to be my cameraman. It takes a while to learn this stuff, guys. You can't just pick this stuff up and go. So, I've got a lot of new team members that I'm training. Some of them haven't even been trained yet. So it's like I'm dealing with some of my newer team members on this investigation. So just a lot of things, for them to learn and pick up. And it takes a while to get all this down, even running that camera. I told him, when you hear something, turn that camera in the direction that you hear, any type of voice or something starts happening, basically the camera follows your eyes. So you're picking that up on the camera as well. Just stuff you got to get used to and do. But he missed a couple things because of that. But we get there, we start investigating. Like I said, I've got Jared Pinks and myself, Eric from the Effingham Brewery or Effing Brewery over there. He's, I think, going to join up on our team now and go, anytime he can, at least once or, twice a month. But had Kelsey and Jay Greentree, Sammy and Macy Peach, Courtney Mendenhall, Becky Knighty. So I had, several team members there. But we split off into two teams, basically team 1 and team 2, and we got to Waverly Hills. And when we went in, we kind of got a tour of the building. He showed us all the hot spots and locations. And again, as we were going through what was the tunnel or area that goes into their death chute, during the opening tour, where he's kind of giving the guidance, telling us the history and all the haunted stuff that supposedly takes place there, we start hearing this noise. It sounds like squeaking, and I immediately identified it as gravel outside. Now, this later on in my story is going to be the same location where I believe could have been, I'm not 100% saying somebody faked something, but there could have been some fakery going on. But the beginning of this is when we start hearing gravel outside, and it's clearly a car leaving. There was two women in the gift shop. That I count staff too when they go in. I'm sneaky, I counted the people in the gift shop. I know there was at least two security guards present outside because I seen them walk through the building. They disappeared before we got there. Don't know where they went. Don't know which door they went to go out of, but I know there was two other people in the building that I never seen again the rest of the night. They either went outside or somewhere. They were walking down the hallway in front of me. I would say they were part of security or staff. Our guide went into his room. I knew where he was at. But when he was giving us our little tour through near the death chute area, we started hearing this squeaking noise. Like I said, it was definitely one of the staff members probably leaving the gift shop, one of the women, because I heard like gravel and brakes squeaking. He immediately tried to pass it off as something paranormal. Man, does that make me mad. When we go to these places to investigate, don't over-exaggerate things. Don't say things are paranormal when they are. I don't know what is wrong with these places and why they want to do this to people. They can't pull it off on experienced paranormal investigators. They might pull it off on amateur ghost hunters that come there for a group and don't do this, night after night. We do this 24/7, night after night, guys. I mean, if I'm not... I barely have a personal life. I'm sitting in a haunted place usually about every night of the week or definitely every weekend at least, and 2 times throughout the week. I mean, I'm investigating locations. You guys don't see everything I do on live because I don't go live that much because I want to see things and hear things. But, they try to pass this stuff off onto experienced people, and you can't do that. Show people what's there, what, you think people have experienced, if you think they've experienced that, and don't add anything to it. Don't try to make things sound like they are, there's something they're not. But anyway, I'm going on a rant here. But anyway, right off the bat, he tries to make this sound like, I guarantee he was going to say it was like a cart coming down the hallway or something, it's some type of paranormal sound. But I pretty much cut him off before he could. And I said, that's a car. And this guy pretty much got standoffish with me, opens the door outside, and there's a yard out there, and there's no cars out there. I was like, well, it was definitely a car in your driveway, which is on the opposite side of the wall where we're at. And 2 of my other team members also heard it and identified it as a car. And this guy just got pretty standoffish because I debunked his noise already right off the bat. So that was another red flag. Also, in that portion of the building where it leads down to the death chute, they have a haunted house at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. I absolutely hate buildings where they have had haunted houses in the past. What do haunted houses lead to? They lead to the ability to mess with people inside the building, just like the Ashmore Estates. And I'm going to get into what I found throughout this haunted house area and throughout the building itself, just like the Ashmore Estates. And now I've got a category, guys, which I categorize fakery and things that can be faked, or the probability of things being faked in these buildings and locations that we investigate. And so, when we go into the Ashmore Estates, I believe they had a haunted house there at one point, or do have a haunted house still. There's speakers all throughout the building. That's a red flag for me. An investigator coming in to investigate with Wi-Fi and speakers hooked up inside a building, still active, when the haunted house isn't going on. I actually called the owner of the Ashmore Estates, and I'm getting into the Ashmore Estates because I'm telling you what category I believe Waverly Hills Sanatorium is in here. I put it in the same category as Ashmore, but I cannot prove they are faking things at Ashmore, nor I cannot prove they're faking things at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, but there's a high probability and for the possibility of fakery to occur at these locations because of the way they're set up. So you got speakers, again, running through Waverly Hills Sanatorium, just like the Ashmore Estates. And I didn't like it at the Ashmore Estates. I don't like it at Waverly Hills. If you're going to do a haunted house in a building, keep it a haunted house. If you're going to allow investigators to investigate in there, then make it a paranormal research center or a place to investigate and not a haunted house also. Because if you got serious investigators in there, we don't want Wi-Fi and speakers running through the building. Any type of sound can be broadcasted over speakers that run through the building. I found Cat 5 cable running all the way through Waverly Hills Sanatorium on different floors, going to different locations, up through pipes even. I found some Cat 5 cable at Waverly Hills. Now, I didn't flat out catch anybody faking anything, guys. So that's why I'm putting it in the category of just below fakery, to where it's a high probability that things could be faked there, and you've got to be careful and watch them. I think I could have caught them faking with one of the things I'm going to tell you toward the end of our investigation, so hang in there. I just couldn't get outside to prove it. But we investigated Willow's Weep. It's supposed to be the most haunted place in the United States, most terrifying, evil, haunted place you could imagine, they said. Multiple suicides, which we debunked. There was one suicide, but not multiple deaths and suicides like the guy claims. He claimed that, there was blood on a chair where the guy committed suicide. We did a blood test on the chair, and the blood came back negative for human blood. So total fakery. They bring in these stage objects. It's called the Hollywood effect. So when you go to these locations and you investigate places like Waverly Hills Sanatorium or Willow's Weep, we call it the Hollywood effect. They'll bring in these staged items to try to amp up their activity, to try to, I'm reading some of your comments. Does Waverly have Christmas displays projected on the side? I'm not sure, John. I'm reading your comment there. I've never been there around Christmas to see that. They might have, but I can't answer that question. But anyway, there's different categories though for these hauntings and these buildings, these locations. And Willow's Weep is total fakery. I mean, total fake. They're hoaxing everything. Same way with the McPike Mansion in Alton, Illinois. The night we were there, there may have been hundreds of teams, and that's the thing I want to get clear to people out there. And some of the comments that's been made to us, how can you guys go in one night, determine and debunk a place as not being haunted or being haunted? You're exactly right. We can't in one night determine whether a place is actually completely haunted or not. I can in one night debunk, most of the activity people experience, and I can in one night debunk, fakery that we actually catch on the night that we're there investigating. Maybe they didn't try faking anything the night you guys were there, or maybe you didn't catch it. But when the Crawford County Ghost Hunter Society is in there and you try to fake stuff on me, I'm going to probably catch you. So, and that's what happened at McPike Mansion. McPike Mansion had this godlike following, this cult-like following. And we flat out caught Sharon faking it. She admitted to stomping on the floor and trying to make us think paranormal activity was taking place. She's done it before. She knew where to stomp on the floor at McPike Mansion. We caught her red-handed. She admitted to it. So McPike Mansion totally debunked in my eyes. Anything anybody's experienced there while that lady's present has, in my eyes, cannot be legit. So McPike Mansion, boom, debunked. That's in my high top category of fakery. Willow's Weep is the same way. We debunked everything pretty much in Willow's Weep. There's doors on springs. People reported the doors opening and slamming, and they're on giant springs, and they slam shut because they're spring loaded. The floors pop. They've got boards underneath that pop up. That's what people are hearing when the boards pop. The blood was fake. The chair was staged and fake. The family even, said that's not the chair he passed away in. That was brought in later by somebody. Willow's Weep, big time fakery, so that's a category of its own. Like Willow's Weep, McPike Mansion, and even Whispers Estate's pretty close to being in that category because they made up pretty much the whole story involved in the Whispers Estate. I'm not saying Whispers Estate doesn't have any activity. And I'm not saying, for that matter, none of these locations don't have a little bit of activity. What I'm saying is they like to hype stuff up and add to the paranormal activity that might exist there, like McPike Mansion. We truly believe, me and Dickerson truly believe we caught some activity the first investigation we done there because Sharon went to bed and we actually caught some legitimate activity. And then the second time we go there for their Halloween camp out to be the host team to help with their public event, during her public event, she decided she wanted to show off and scare everybody. So, you might go to one of these places one time and get legit stuff, and they might want to add the stuff the next time. So that's what you're dealing with places when you pay to go into them, and they want to keep their reputation and they want to keep these places haunted. They get pissed off at teams like us that debunk, and people get pissed off. Like, people want ghosts. Everybody wants a ghost for some reason. I'm going to get into that, though, kind of getting off my rant, my subject here, but the different categories of awnings, I would classify Ashmore Estates and Waverly Hills Sanatorium in a category that, like I say, the probability is there for fakery, but I couldn't catch them red-handed. So just be aware if you're a team out there or your investigators that go and investigate Waverly Hills Sanatorium, just keep your eye out, use logic and common sense. And that's the best thing. That's the best tools we have as paranormal investigators. Use your brain. A lot of people don't use that anymore for some odd reason because they go into these locations and everything's a ghost. They don't try to debunk things. Use scientific method and protocol to debunk the activity that you're experiencing in these locations. And that's what we do. It takes extraordinary, evidence to support an extraordinary haunting. You've got to prove through evidence and documentation that these locations are haunted, and I've told you this a million times. If you see things, that's an eyewitness account. That's a personal experience. That's documentation. If I tell you I've seen an apparition, it's only my word. I have no documentation of that. And if I get it on video, that's evidence. People's hearsay and seeing things isn't evidence of a place being haunted. But anyway, back to Waverly Hills Sanatorium. We started investigating this location, and right off the bat, Eric, one of my new team members, and Jareth hear what sounded like a baby crying up on second floor, I think. The place is kind of confusing. So, we get up on the second floor, and I didn't hear it personally. They heard it. They were closer to the door than what I were. Some people out on the live feed said they heard it. I have not been able to hear that on the live feed when I played it back. I don't think it was a baby crying. The problem with the whole Waverly Hills Sanatorium, guys, is that the urban environment that it sets in the building itself. And that's what I want to get into here in a second. The way these buildings almost come to life themselves and create their own haunting, even though it's not haunted. And I want to talk about that. We call it the old building effect. And we're going to get into that and why psychologically these buildings can mess with people if you're not experienced. John Meyer says, I can't remember what tour I went on, Glendale, but we went to this old house. We saw that a picture moved out of the center in its frame, and the tour guide started kind of freaking out. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, John. Yeah. And that's what I was going to tell people. I guarantee you, these tour guides, if you put me in, I would love to be a tour guide at Waverly Hills Sanatorium for like a month, because I guarantee you 90% of their activity would go down during that month. And I guarantee you, these people don't try to debunk stuff. They try to pass it off as paranormal because they want to sell tickets. They want people to pay that $1,000 fee to come investigate their location for a night. They want it to be haunted. They're going to sell you tickets. They're going to sell you a haunting. That's how they make their money. And it's like, but we investigate this place, and we hear the cry. We debunked it. Later on, we heard a coughing sound. Now, this coughing sound was probably the most legit thing. Hey guys, so everybody's saying hi to me out there on the comments. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but I don't want to get off topic. But hey guys, I see everybody saying hello. I'm glad you guys are all watching. I appreciate all our fans and viewers out there tonight. So, but anyway, we hear this cough. Now, the cough was probably maybe one of the most legit things I heard all night, because and it actually got caught on our live feed. You can hear it on the audio on our live feed portion, and it was like a hoo. I mean, it's like a deep. I get into it. It's like a deep whooping cough. And we're investigating a place, that was that housed, thousands of tuberculosis patients. People died of tuberculosis in there, and that, a lot of them had that, that deep whooping cough. They would cough up blood. They would have night sweats. Tuberculosis was a horrible thing to die from, and it took a while for some people to die from it. Some people would get over it, some people wouldn't. It was also called consumption back in the day. And when Waverly Hills Sanatorium opened up, it was finished pretty much around 1926. There was a huge need for it because the tuberculosis outbreak was just out of control in the Louisville area. So, they had to develop these hospitals. And then this kind of gets into my old building effect that I'm going to talk about, because the sanatorium was put up on a hill, guys. And they thought back in the day, and it wasn't a bad idea, and it may help, that, fresh air and sunlight would help tuberculosis or TB patients, get over their illness. So they put it up on this hill. The building itself was designed to bring in air and suck in air. And that's what I'm going to talk about with the old building effect. It's up on a hill. The building is actually designed, and they tell you in the tour that you take right off the bat that the building is designed to bring in air. So anytime you have a building that's designed to bring in air or bring in drafts, what does that lead to? That leads to a suction in the building, which creates doors opening by themselves. It creates airflow down hallways that, you might not even realize is going on. So right there, you can debunk pretty much any door that opens in that place. And that's what we did all night long. We had several doors opening and slamming on us. And we would immediately go to the area. We recorded a couple of them. One door completely flew open, guys. Went out onto a balcony area. Door opened by itself, slammed open. Sammy's sitting right there beside me recording it. We're watching this door. I said, wait a minute, just wait, see what happens. Door slams back shut. It slams open again, slams back shut. Well, it's the wind, sucking the door open from the outside. It's the wind was incredible there. I don't know if you guys could hear it in our live feed, but it just sounded like wolves howling at times. It was just like a woo. I can't even know how to make it sound effects now. But this old building effect creates a haunting sometimes, and like the wind of these coming through the hallways. We were in the morgue area. If you guys, I know I'm jumping around here, but we were in the morgue area. Also, we thought we were experiencing some activity. Going back to the cough. Sorry, I'm jumping to that. I'm getting off subject. The cough, guys, going back to it real quick. I'm pretty sure we debunked it. That's what I was talking about when I read that comment and got off the track. But the cough, we pretty much debunked because Team 2 was not with us. Sammy, one of my team members, she's had a cough because she got the COVID vaccination, and she's had a little cough since then, and it kind of made her a little sick. So she's been coughing. I'm not saying it was her, but I can't prove it wasn't. And when you talk about paranormal occurrences, you have to eliminate all the natural explanations before you say it's a ghost. Ghost is the last thing on our list to say that it is. We have to eliminate all other explanations, all other sources before a ghost is our answer. So since she was not with me and in a different group in a different part of the building, we also found out later on through the night that sound travels up the stairwells, up the stairway, and you can actually hear people talking inside the hallways from another floor because it travels up the stairwells and the elevator shafts and it sounds like people talking. So I guarantee you some of the things that people have heard in there where there's people talking can be debunked. Definitely 100% the doors slamming almost have to be debunked at Waverly Hills unless you've got a perfectly still night in the summer. We want to go back. We want to go back in the summer when there's no wind, absolutely quiet out, no wind blowing at all, just to see if we have a different experience. But I guarantee you, if you go on a night like we went and you hear a door slam, it is not paranormal. That building has air draft suctions and airflow in there, and it is slamming and opening doors. We caught it on video, and it was not paranormal. And that's what people report there a lot. Oh, I heard a door slam at Waverly, or, a lot of people see shadow figures. There's a lot of shadow play because the outside of that building is open to the environments and the light. It's also in an urban environment with apartments pretty much right next to it down the hill that you can hear people yelling and screaming at. So if you hear yelling and screaming, it probably is coming from those apartments down the road, and it echoes up that hill, which is some of the things we also heard during the night, which a lot of these things, if you're just an amateur ghost hunter or a weekend ghost hunter that gets a group together, does this for the thrill of it or adventure of it, is going to get scared shitless there because they're going to hear this stuff. They're going to hear the wind. They're going to hear the howling and the doors, and they're going to say, oh, my God, I just experienced paranormal activity, and they're not going to try to debunk it. And, oh, my God, Waverly Hills is haunted, the most haunted place in the world. And that's what 90% of the activity is at Waverly, I can assure you. I'm sure people, I'm not saying it's not haunted, guys, and there's lies being told at Waverly, too. There's a big lie out there that 60,000 people died at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Historical scholars say that is not true. They say it's closer to 7,000 to 10,000 at the most. Still, let's say you got 7,000 people. That's a lot of death. It's bound to have a ghost or two. But, you've got to rule out that natural activity from the ghosts that is extremely rare. Ghosts and ghost-like phenomena and paranormal activity is rare. Ghosts being captured on photographs is extremely rare. I have not seen, there's been very few photographs I can't debunk, and I'm going to get into a comment that was sent to us on Waverly Hills because they were mad that we debunked one of their favorite places and said that, I'm not saying it's not haunted. I'm saying on the night of November the 16th into the night of November the 17th when the Crawford County Ghost Hunter Society was there, it was not haunted. During our investigation, we did not encounter anything paranormal. Now, Team 2 claims when they were not with me, they had a ghost box session near the elevator, or near I think it's the third floor, where a homeless guy was living in the building at one point. Some kids or teenagers, I believe it was, snuck into the building with crowbars, killed the guy and his dog, and threw him down the elevator shaft. And I stood there in the dark by myself for a long time after, they told me they had that, see if I could experience anything. I did have one weird thing happen there. I'll tell you about it here in a minute. But anyway, they were doing a ghost box session or ITC session, instrumental transcommunication, through a PSB7 spirit box. And they were using that device and claimed to communicate with that guy. And he was talking to him. I'm not doubting they did, but I've seen no recorded evidence of that yet. They apparently did not record it. Again, I haven't trained all my team members yet. Some of these new ones, you got to record these sessions or it didn't happen. They can say it happened all night long, but if it's not on a recorder, it didn't happen. So, they claim they did get some, communication, intelligent communication. I believe them. I'm not saying I don't believe them. We just can't present it as evidence because we don't have any. So, but the way with ITC and ghost box sessions work, and I've tried to tell people, that does not make a location haunted. using a ghost box or attempting an ITC communication session inside a building is like me picking up the telephone and trying to phone my friend out in California. He's not there at the location where I'm talking to him. I can pick up my phone and say, "Hey, John out there in California, how are you doing?" And I'm talking to him. He's in his own home. There's a line of communication established there, through that phone and through RF signals and everything happening. And he's not actually at that location. People don't understand this with Ghostbox and ITC, that, just because you're getting communication at a particular location, it doesn't mean that that communication is coming from that location. It could be coming from somewhere else. And that's why we can't determine that a location is haunted by ghost box sessions alone or ITC sessions. Now, EVP or electronic voice phenomena, where it's coming out of plain air, is a huge indicator, or better indicator that the actual location is haunted than a ghost box session, because you're picking up stuff coming out of the air directly, possibly from that location. It could be from somewhere else, but, a lot of times straight out EVP on a recorder out of thin air could be them speaking at that location, where a ghost box is almost like a telephone with the dead, if that makes any sense. So, but anyway, they said they claimed to experience things in that area where the guy got thrown in the elevator and communicated with this guy. That was probably our only thing I knew that happened. But we got a picture sent to us. I don't know if you guys follow our comment we put up there saying, we didn't think it was the most haunted place in the world. There's a few people who got pissed off and mouthed off. This Gage Snyder sent me a picture. I believe this is a female. Her name is Gaige Snyder, Snyder, not related to me, spelled differently, spelled with a Y instead of an I. I'm going to throw this picture up she sent. She goes, "Well, I caught a shadow figure at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, so you guys are liars." Well, she caught what she believed to be a shadow figure at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. I debunked it in about 30 seconds, as I do most pictures. Let me look at this. Here is the picture that Gage Snyder mouthed off on our page and said that we were liars because we debunked the activity that we experienced that night. So we're liars because we debunk things. But here is the picture, guys. Now, down at the end of the hallway, you can see what she's calling a shadow figure. Now, this is the perfect. This is the death shoot. She took this in the death shoot. This is a perfect example of what we call pareidolia. Now, what pareidolia is when you see something that appears to look like something that it is not. So, all you got to do is blow this picture up. I didn't have time to do it for the show because I was running late tonight, guys. But if you go to our Waverly Hills post we made where it shows our group picture and the building and where we said, we had a great time, go to that post. This is where some of the people were mouthing off about us debunking. This picture is one she posts and said, "This is absolutely proof that Waverly Hills is haunted. It's absolutely proof that people don't know how to analyze photographs," to me. So if you go and look at this and blow this up, you can clearly see the spot that she's thinking is a shadow figure at the end of this death shoot is caused by pixelization and pareidolia. It could be a black spot on the wall. It could be caused by black, pixels not filling in right. But once you blow it up, you can see that the gray parts and the gray pixels go underneath the picture. There's no legs, and it's just a spot on the wall. It's like the man in the moon. Pareidolia is the same effect as the man in the moon. Some people can look at the moon and see a face in the moon when it's not really there. It's the craters. The human mind is programmed to see images and body shapes because that's what we want to see. Since we've been a young age, we've seen our mother's face, when we're born. Faces are one of the first things that the human mind sees and recognizes in body shapes. So every little thing in the background, every little spot becomes a ghost or a actual person when it's not. This is called the pareidolia effect. You can also have audio pareidolia in ghost box sessions, which is the same thing with audio sessions. You can think you're hearing something that you're not because your mind wants to hear things like "help me" or certain things while you're doing these ITC sessions. So you've got to make sure you've got intelligent communication and you're not picking up audio pareidolia. But anyway, this is a perfect example of pareidolia. It is not a ghost. It is not a shadow figure. It is just caused from an image at the end of that shoot that is not filling out right and looks to be in human shape or form, and when it's not, when you blow it up. I promise you guys, any amateur out there, if you take this photograph and you blow it up in a photo program, you can clearly see this is not an apparition. Now, as you're looking at it on the screen right now, it looks kind of convincing, but you blow that up, you can clearly see underneath it and see that it doesn't even take on the form of a person. So, I mean, a lot of these things can be debunked, and people think that they're ghosts. And this is clearly, definitely, I promise you, not a ghost. And people get pissed off at us. They get mad because we tell them that, this isn't a ghost. I mean, I don't understand it, guys. I don't know why people get mad about this. And then here's another comment we got by a Rose Fagan on that same post where we said we debunked Waverly Hills. She says, claiming a place isn't very haunted when many reputable professionals have investigated the building and had experiences, when thousands of people have investigated the place and had their own personal experiences and evidence. I literally had a ghost touch my hand on the 4th floor stairway door. So the place is haunted, she said. I've been skeptical of you guys since I started following, but this post confirms it. You guys are just in it for the likes and the money. That cracks me up, actually. So she's been skeptical of us since she started following us. She continues to follow us. She signed up for our haunted tours at Pine Lawn Manor and didn't come because she was scared, obviously, or didn't want to know the truth. So this lady, is bashing us too, saying that because we were there one time, we can't see the place, isn't haunted. Well, it wasn't haunted when we were there. I am telling you that much right now. But anyway, she says that you guys are just in it for the likes and the money. And just to get that straight to Mrs. Rose Fagan out there, and I'll do it publicly here, we don't really care about likes and we don't really care about money. We do this for the paranormal research and actually to show people that there are things sometimes that we can't explain, and that we want to research life after death and try to, find logical explanations for a lot of things people experience out there. We absolutely do not do this for the likes. I'm not trying to say this and like sound bad toward any of you, our fans out there, because we love our fans. We love you guys watching us, but we don't do this for you guys. I mean, I hate to say that, but we're not doing this for reputation, or we're not doing this for fame and fortune. We're doing this to show you guys what we do and how it's supposed to be done, because of all this bull fake stuff on TV that has brainwashed and actually absolutely destroyed the world of paranormal research. We don't want any donations. We don't want anything. I'm actually mad because Facebook just recently started this deal with stars. And I don't know if you guys have seen that, and I have tried to get it off there. Please, guys, don't send us any of these stars. I know we've gotten over 1,000 stars sent to us already, and I don't like that, because basically it looks like we're asking for this stuff, and this is something Facebook done to us because we have so many viewers and so many page reach. You have to have over, I think, 10,000 followers and I don't know, a bunch of video views and all that for this to be able to take place. So Facebook put this on us and we didn't ask for it. So now every time we go live, it says, do you want to donate stars to this? It's I guess so you can, support your favorite creators and stuff. But we're not doing it for money and donations, guys. We're doing this for research and to show you guys what we do and what's out there. We're doing this to help the world and prove that, there is life after death, but you've got to use a logical, scientific mindset to determine what's natural and what is, legitimately paranormal when it occurs. So, but yeah, we definitely don't do this for the money, as, we're all sitting here rich and money just rolling in because we debunk things. That's why it doesn't make any sense either, because the people who make the money are the Hollywood, fakes. They fake things. I don't know of any team like myself that makes any money debunking things. And if there are anybody out there, a legitimate scientific research team that's rolling in the money because they're debunking things, let me know, because it's definitely not us. Um, you don't make money by debunking things. The TV shows, they act like they debunk things like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, and it's pure fake. Like I say, I actually made it to the final round of Ghost Hunters, the new TV show, and I had a contract with Pilgrim Studios. I turned them down because they wanted me to fake stuff. I've got all the emails, all the Skype, I Skyped with the producers and everything, and they didn't even tell me what it was going to be about. I thought they were wanting to do a legitimate show about paranormal research and debunking and showing activity. Come to find out, it was for the new Ghost Hunters. 3 days before I'm flying out to California, they told me this. I basically told the producers to go, yeah. and everybody knows that. I had to keep it under, this has been a while back, obviously. I had to keep it confidential. I couldn't release information. I was actually owned by them for a while because I had signed part of the contract, and they didn't tell me what was going on. So if I wanted fame and fortune, I would have had fame and fortune, guys. And it pisses me off when people leave comments like that. But sorry, I'm on a rant. But we do this for the research. And, I guess those people don't have to watch us if they don't want to see things debunked. If they want to see the fake stuff, go watch Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters on TV, because I can assure you it is fake. They tell you it is fake. They told me it is fake. They add things in and they exaggerate things. They don't want real people. Once they find out, you're going to be legit and actually debunk things, they don't want you very long. Trust me. But, we've debunked a lot of places, a lot of locations, and there's things that we have not been able to debunk. That's why I see it night after night, even by myself sometimes at Pine Lawn Manor in Sumner, Illinois. There's things going on at Pine Lawn Manor I cannot debunk. About everything going on at Pine Lawn Manor I cannot debunk. And I have tried everything to debunk those marbles. I've tried everything to debunk our recent blood incident. I can't debunk it. I mean, we've got videos of marbles flying out of nowhere. Video. I mean, that last video was our smoking gun, because that's what I wanted. I wanted evidence. We told the world about this for a long time. And I wanted that evidence, that those marbles are actually flying out of nowhere. And we got that on a live feed by accident. And that's why we go live too. People think we go live for the fame and stuff and for getting a bunch of followers. And that's not the case either. We go live because we like you guys out there watching, and you help us with these investigations. You're our evidence and our proof. You can't fake a live feed. And you can't go back in and add anything. That's why I'm very, very careful with YouTube. I don't post investigations on YouTube because what people do on YouTube is they film a lot of it and then they edit it and post it up to YouTube as like almost a movie or video. And there's a group over here that copies off of us that got its start from going on one of my haunted tours. It just posted a video of a house in Palestine. And their evidence was dust particles flying around this house, and they were saying it was apparitions. They call themselves Crossroads Paranormal. And, I'm throwing names and everything out there tonight because I'm in one of those moods. So, but anyway, they follow us around. They try to get in all the locations we go to, and they make it look like a joke. But anyway, you've got, if you're going to put up evidence, make sure it's not dust particles and saying it's apparitions. But anyway, the marble video, we can't debunk. We can't explain it. If anybody can, definitely let us know. Joe says, hold on, I'm looking at some of your comments. I can say from experience that Jason and the CCGHS are very generous and don't give a crap about making money. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that comment. That's Joe Turry, the producer of our, the video. He, let's see if I can find one here. Got one laying around somewhere. Give Joe a little plug there, but there it is. But yeah, he helped make this. He ran around with his guys for a long time. The Hanging of Elizabeth Reed, a Ghost Story. You definitely want to check that out. It is Red Room Creative Media. So check out Joe and his page. really cool, honest, down to earth guy too. He's kind of like us. He doesn't like to hype stuff up and exaggerate things. That's why we agreed to help him make that documentary and and do that story on Betsy Reed. So, but yeah, the people who go with us know what we do, and they know we're legit. And you either hate us or love us. I've learned over the years. The people who own buildings and houses that want them to be haunted hate us because we do debunk a lot of things. And I think some people just don't even want us coming in because they know that we're going to tell the truth and we're going to be legit with our findings. And people don't want that anymore. People want their house to be haunted. It's completely ridiculous. And these investigators, this new generation of paranormal investigators, they go in looking for ghosts. They don't go in looking for explanations. We use scientific method and scientific protocol to rule out anything that we believe to be paranormal. So what we do is if, let's say like we do have a door opening. Okay. The last explanation or hypothesis is going to be a ghost. You've got to use scientific method and form hypothesis. We have a door opening. Okay. The last thing on our list of possibilities is a ghost. We got to form another hypothesis. Okay. Could the wind have blown it open? Let's go look at this door. Let's examine it. Does the door come open by itself? Is there a possibility of the wind blowing it open at all? And this happened at Waverly Hills. And this is how we debunk this at Waverly Hills. We use scientific method. We looked outside. The wind was blowing. We shut the door. It came back open. Boom. It's not a ghost. We have a natural explanation. Very seldom does it get to the ghost explanation. Very seldom is a ghost the answer to a activity that you believe is some type of paranormal phenomena or occurrence. The ghost should be the last thing you go to. That's the end of the line. We don't know what the heck's causing this stuff. It's got to be paranormal, and then still it can be debunked. But, the ghost is the last thing on that list. When you go debunking things, you look for all natural explanations. The wind, could a dog or raccoon ran out the door and hit the door? Anything. So, you got to come up with multiple natural explanations. And if any of those make sense, if any of them are logical, you have to go with that logical explanation and not the ghost explanation. So, I mean, it's just common sense, guys, and people don't use it. It's like we do this every day in our lives, throughout our lives. We use scientific method. You don't realize it. You decide, hey, do I want to do this or that? And you come up with two different ideas and figure out which one is the most logical and go with the most logical. But everybody, they always want it to be haunted. Somewhat, Joe. He's asking if we believe in synchronicities. Yeah, I mean, somewhat. I mean, you get into a lot of stuff when you start talking about that. Might need a whole new show for that, Joe. But trying to read some of the comments. But yeah, I told you guys this was going to be me tell you how I feel night. So I apologize about that. But yeah, some people just don't understand what we do. They won't come on our haunted tours. Just like this lady that wanted to mouth off on that the post we posted about Waverly Hills. She signed up for our haunted tours, but never showed up. She wants to call us fake and the activity fake that, we can't debunk, but yet she doesn't show up to see it for herself. And that's what makes me mad too, because, you got these people sit on their couch and they want to say, oh, this isn't real or this is real. And they don't actually go to prove or disprove the fact. Come skeptical. We like skeptics. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret here. We put out a job application here, 3 weeks ago or so. We put out some job applications looking for new team members because I kicked several of them off for not following my standards and protocol. And I'm extremely harsh on my team members. I'm going to be straight out honest. If you're on my team, you're probably not going to like me because I'm that harsh. I'm strict. I'm harsher on my team members than I am my friends because, you're basically working for me at this point if you're a team member. If you're a friend, it's probably better you stay a friend of mine and not get on my team because I've kicked so many people off my team, and then it ends our friendship too. But if you break our protocols, if you break our standards, and you wean off the path of debunking, and you start saying everything's a ghost, you will get kicked off my team very quickly. If you fake something, you'll get kicked off my team permanently. So, I'm pretty harsh on my team members and the standards and protocol that we follow when investigating paranormal occurrences. So, and you can ask some of my friends, some of them that still talk to me, because a lot of them wanted to join my team, and I told them it's not a good idea because, I treat my team members differently than I treat my friends. I hold my team members to a high standard. And when I put out those job applications, I hold those people to a high standard because I put on there, you can't smoke marijuana. And we got I ask do you smoke marijuana? Do you take any type of drugs that can cause hallucinations? Do you smoke? Do you vape? Anybody that answered they smoke marijuana immediately was tossed out. You can't smoke marijuana and be on a paranormal investigation team and, expect people to believe what you're going to see or hear, because I couldn't believe how many applications we got back where people marked yes. I mean, honesty is good too, but they marked yes that they smoked medical marijuana or recreational marijuana. And that was an automatic kick out because that's why I asked them, and I'm glad they're honest. But, we want people that, are going to, if they see things, we know they're actually seeing something and it's not some drug induced or medical induced hallucination through, even prescription medication. Some people are on medication. Nothing against anybody that is on this, but a lot of your medications for anxiety, depression, like Zoloft, a lot of those things can cause hallucinations sometimes. And we'd rather our team members not be on any type of medications like that. Another question we asked straight out on our application was, do you, or I'm trying to think how I worded this. Do you highly believe in ghosts and spirits? Are you skeptical, or are you skeptical and need proof? Anybody that said they highly believed in ghosts and spirits, we threw that application out, because I don't want people that highly believe in ghosts and spirits on my team. I want skeptical researchers on my team. I want people that, are going to question things. I don't want people to automatically think it's a ghost, and I don't want them to highly believe in ghosts. So I don't want team members like that. We are a group of scientific researchers that debunk things and research paranormal occurrences. We're not, believers pushing, that ghosts are real type of thing. I mean, even though we've seen things we can't explain, like Pine Lawn Manor, we have no other explanation at the current time for Pine Lawn Manor other than a paranormal explanation. Still don't know if it's ghosts throwing the marbles or if it's some type of dimensional weird shift in the matrix. I don't understand it. I don't know, but I can't explain it at this current time. But, that's what we look for when we're looking for individuals that go with us, especially team members. We're looking for people that, don't jump the gun and don't jump to conclusions that everything's a ghost or spirit. And that's just how my team operates. And that's how I've done it for, over 20 years now. And that's why my team's still going. And there's a lot of teams that have just, you don't hear about anymore. So, I just want people to know, how we operate, in our approach to paranormal research. And a lot of people don't understand, they watch our videos, they watch our stuff. They don't understand the true, nuts and bolts of how we work and how we take a scientific approach. And I will get rid of anybody that doesn't. That's why we don't use psychics. We don't use Ouija boards, even though, there are people on my team that may have psychic abilities. Not saying I don't believe in psychic abilities. We cannot present it as evidence. Evidence is not, some psychic saying that something took place there, because everybody out here listening and watching this, can't hear and see that as well. Evidence is something that all of you guys can see and hear, documentation through video footage, through audio footage, through photography. That's evidence of paranormal occurrences that everybody can see and hear. Psychic babble is not evidence. And anybody can say anything. Anybody can claim to be a psychic, and that's why we do not use them. And the people on my team that keep saying, I've seen things too. I've seen things in in the Methodist Village. I've seen things in Pine Lawn Manor that I can't explain, but it's my own eyewitness account. It's not evidence. It's me telling you I've seen that. And like even my team members that keep saying they see things, and like, they better be careful, because they better start showing for sure they're seeing these things, because as my team member, you keep saying you see things, you're going to go bye-bye real quick. So trying to see here, it says, did Dickerson leave the group? Patty Shoemaker Baldwin wants to know. Well, since we're laying her out on the table tonight, guys, like I said, I'm in one of those moods. So that's a question I've been asked a lot here lately. Did Dickerson leave the group? I kicked him off the group. He didn't leave the group. I removed several people from my group. Dickerson was one of them. And he wasn't the one really at fault. But I will let you know what happened. And just because, people are asking, and I really need to tell them, I guess, because I'm honest, with what goes on. I've got it in my contract that if you are on another paranormal investigation team or start your own group, that it's a conflict of interest, because I want people to be dedicated to my team. And I also have, there's confidential investigations that we go to. We've investigated murder scenes where the murder just took place, and they want us to try to get some type of EVP activity or something that we can't talk about. So there's things that happen, I have them sign a paper that anything that they experience while they're in my team, they can't talk about it if we're not supposed to go public with it or not talk about it or anything like that. And I've got a big protocol list of things, that if you break, you will get kicked off my team. Fakery, any type of faking is one of the number one pet peeves, that you're gone. Number one rule: if you try to fake anything, you're out of here, never to return. What happened is, in my contract, like I said, I've got that you can't be on another team or group. So a couple of my team members were supposed to meet me at the United Methodist Village one night to help me do one of the haunted tours. It was Ed Reese and Amanda Roughton, and they never showed up, them and Riley Miller. Found out the next day they had went out to some cemeteries instead of coming to our tours, which is fine. I don't care about that. They're free to do what they want. But what was going on was they had formed their own team. Found out the next day through one of my team members that contacted me. They said, hey, Ed Reese and Amanda Roughton has formed their own team, and it's in our contract. This team member came to me because she found it. And so Ed and Amanda formed this team called the Lorehounds, and we are not associated with them in any way, guys. I will not associate with them. They do not follow our guidelines and protocols. It says they were a mystical something historical paranormal team in their description. We are not mystical. We're scientific. We don't do no voodoo crap. We are we're an actual paranormal research team. And anyway, they formed their own group, didn't tell me, kind of went behind my back and done this. And it's automatic kick out because they broke the contract. I'm not mad at them. Still friends with Ed and Amanda. They just broke my contract. Can't be on my team anymore because it's a conflict of interest to be on two different groups, because you can't share information or confidential information and all that. It just doesn't work out. We've tried it in the past, and that's why I put it in my guidelines, because it's happened in the past. They knew it. They got kicked out. Riley Miller then joined him, and Dickerson was highly supportive of the fact. And I told him I would rather him not support them. They went behind our back and formed this team called the Lorehounds. And I told him right off the bat that, please don't support them if you want to stay in my team or go with them. He started supporting them, and I don't know if he went with them, but he was highly supporting them and said that he agreed with what they did, even though it was in my contract. So I kicked him off. I got to have loyal people on my team, guys. Loyalty is a lot to me. And if you're going to be on my team member, you got to be loyal and trustworthy. And I got to believe everything you say. And, if you tell me you've seen an apparition, I've got to believe that, and that's why I say, if you're on my team, I hold you to a different standard than what I do if you're my friend even. So, that's how my team works, where that just, I look at my team as like a special forces team in the paranormal research world. You got the regular military forces or whatever, and then you got the special forces. It's like, I want my team, I strive for my team to be the best. I want my team to be the best at what we do. that's just why I've kept this team going for over 20 years. And these other teams, start up and they end, within a year or 2 years, and we're still going. And nobody can take our team down just because of comments and stuff, because I'm in this for the research. I'm not in it for the fame and fortune, and I don't really care what anybody thinks about it. So that's why we're still going. The comments can't knock us down. The comments can't take us down. We will continue to research and do our own thing. If people love us, they love us. If people hate us, they hate us. And that's just the way we do things around here. So, but I've had a lot of team members over the years that I've gotten rid of. A couple of them fake things, and I got rid of them. My team has changed so much over the years. You guys just, when Dickerson was on the videos and stuff, Dickerson was basically the face of my, one of the faces in my team when I first started going live. And I think that's why, you guys all know Dickerson and, all the funny stuff he did. And he is funny with his shaky leg and all that stuff. And, but my team has changed so much over the years. I've had so many different members. I bet I've had 50, 60 different team members over the years, since I started this. And it's an adapting thing. My team adapts, I adapt. We adapt with the current situation, with the paranormal investigating, the new equipment coming out. You've got to adapt and just keep going and try to investigate to the best of your ability and tell people the truth. And telling people the truth is everything in this field. If you lose that and you start straying from that path and you start, trying to exaggerate things and starting to, say that, this happened or that happened, that's when you lose your reputation and you lose your ability to investigate. I've seen that happen with so many teams out there over the past. And everybody wants to be the top team, or it's not a competition. It's just, we're doing it for ourselves. We're doing it, not to compete with anybody, but we're striving to be the best, if that makes sense. We want to be the best we can possibly be at showing you guys what we can find and debunk or legitimately present as evidence to the world that paranormal activity and phenomena is real in some places, and it is. We've learned through Pylon Manor in different locations. So, that's just the way we work, guys. And I want to get that out there. Becky says, I'm proud to say I've been on the team for 16 years. Yeah. Becky has been with me for a long time, guys. I think her first investigation was we investigated Pemberton Hall in Charleston, Illinois. So, Becky has stood the test of time. So she's a good lady, guys. I couldn't ask for a better team member out of Becky. She's been there through it all. And Ben Irvin's been on my team a long time. Ben Irvin's been there for years. So got Ben and Becky and James Pinkston. James has been on my team for a long time. He's helped our team for years. James had his own team back in the day in the St. Louis area and kind of joined up with me, and he's not doing anything with his team anymore. So he goes with me. And, I've got a few team members that have lasted the test of time and are still there, like Becky. And I appreciate, everything they do for us. And Becky's first investigation, though, was at Pemberton Hall at EIU University up at Charleston, Illinois. We investigated the location where, there was an individual killed in Pemberton Hall back in the day, a lady, and she supposedly plays the piano up there. And I believe we were the first and only paranormal team to actually conduct an investigation on that floor. There's been a lot of books wrote about it. But, the haunting at Pemberton Hall at EIU, Eastern Illinois University, was one of Becky's first investigations she went on us with. And it was broadcasted on one of the TV channels up there, local TV stations. They put it out over the air and filmed our investigation that night, which was pretty cool. So Becky got in on a really good investigation when she first started. And gosh, I don't know. She said it was 16 years ago. I thought it was longer than that. But yeah, that's what is going on right now, guys. Just thought I'd lay everything out on the table tonight. So had a lot of people asking about Dickerson. Had a lot of people asking about Ed and Amanda. So now you know. And but our investigation at Waverly Hills Sanatorium was pretty cool. Awesome building. It's just what I call the old building effect. It's a psychological mindset that people get when they go into these old buildings. It messes with people's heads. These buildings almost have a life of their own. The wind causes doors to open. They make sounds. There's noises you can't explain. It's all new to you because you've never been there the same time before. It also gets into what we call the new house effect. The new house effect is when you go into or you move into a new house. A lot of people report paranormal activity right after they move into a new house. And that's because you're not used to those sounds. You're not used to the bumps in the night, the pipes rattling, the mice that it may have running across your pans in the kitchen, the electrical problems. It's called the new house effect. You don't know that house's sounds and smells and the way it sounds at night, at midnight, or versus at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It could be barometric pressure, different things changing, but that's called the new house effect and the old building effect. It kind of ties in with each other, but definitely a lot of stuff can be debunked at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. We do want to go back just to make sure we didn't go on an off night. We want to go back on a night where there's no wind at all during the summer. So we probably will do a return investigation. We will be asking for a different guide. Definitely not taking the guide we got this time. I definitely will request a different guide. And we'll try it again. But as of right now, we didn't really find anything there. Cool old building, though. Just psychologically, it can get to you. I sat there in the dark. I'm going to wrap this up here pretty soon, guys. But I sat there in the dark and by myself just to see if I could experience anything up on the floor where the guy was killed and thrown down the elevator shaft, him and his dog. And I heard what sounded like, and I shouldn't have done this, but I was like, if there's anybody here, can you guys show yourself? I was like, we investigate a place called Pine Lawn Manor, and they're a lot more active than what you guys are. Wasn't really taunting them. I don't like to provoke or taunt, but I was just kind of seeing if anything would happen. Maybe I was trying to stir it up. I don't know. I was getting bored at that point. But I did hear what sounded like chains like rattling in one of the rooms. I was by myself, went over there. I couldn't find anything, but I think it was just something blowing. The wind started blowing when I heard it. I don't think it was literally chains. That's just what it sounded like. But I couldn't find anything. I don't think it was anything paranormal, really. It was probably just, some tin rattling with the wind or something. But definitely, a cool place. I mean, really cool place. Just for the history, if you want to take a historical tour of Waverly Hills Sanatorium, I highly recommend it. The history involved in that location is amazing. So, don't pass that up if you're ever there for sure. One thing that happened to me and Courtney down at the death chute, I'm going to get into this and I'm going to end this for the night. But one thing that happened down at the death chute was me and Courtney went down there right toward pretty much 4 a.m. when we were getting ready to call it. We're getting ready to end. And we were standing down there, and there's a tin roof there in the death chute right before you get to it. I heard we were actually in the death chute area, but if you go around the corner, the tin roof's right there. Again, this is in the area where the haunted house is at. Keep in mind. And there's a door going out right there. We heard what sounded like pounding on that roof. And I thought it sounded like a tree branch scraping across the tin. So I automatically debunked it. I think, hey, there's a tree outside. And it was scratching. So I went up to where I heard it, and it started scratching again. Didn't really sound like a tree. So, and I couldn't get out the door. They won't let me out the door to debunk anything. That's the thing, too. They won't let me outside to look at what's going on outside. You've got to know what's going on outside your environment as well as inside your environment on a paranormal investigation. Doesn't work that way. You can't lock yourself in like Zach Bagans and Ghost Adventures and act like you've debunked everything. So I couldn't even get outside to look at what was causing the sound. Had I got outside to look at what was causing the sound, I might have found some fakery, is all I'm going to say, because I highly believe somebody might have been banging on that tin roof. And they're used to messing with people when you've got a haunted house that's taking place inside the same place you have paranormal investigators come to investigate. They know where to make the sounds. They know where to make these noises. So, there was a door there that I couldn't get out to go see if anybody was actually banging on the roof, which could have been very easily been done. But when I got outside, when we finally left the building and got done, when they let us out, I looked at that location. There were no trees, no tree branches that could have caused the noise that I heard. Um, but it's very easily accessible by the guards and the security staff. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I couldn't catch anybody faking anything, but the probability for fakery was there. I don't think what I heard was paranormal at all. Something was scraping on that roof, and it was coming from the outside, not the inside. Wasn't allowed access outside during my investigation, so I couldn't really fully debunk it. But that's what happened during the end there. That another red flag for me. But anyway, it was a good investigation. We had fun, and I'm glad you guys are all out there tonight, watching like you always are. Just wanted to address a few, comments that were out there to our page and everything. Again, I'm trying to get this star thing shut off, guys. If you see the stars when we go live, please don't send us stars. We're trying to get that disabled. Facebook done that to us on their own. We don't want any money or donations, and we don't like it, really. I mean, we're doing this, for the research. So I can't even disable at this point. I've tried 2 or 3 times, and it keeps coming back every time I disable it. So I've got to do more research and try to figure out how to get rid of this star thing that Facebook has put on all our videos for you guys to try to donate stars to us. Or I think it gives us like a penny per whatever you guys are paying for these stars, which is not anything anyway. So, but yeah, we're going to call it a night, guys. And glad you tuned in. And we're going to have our regular talk show again on the first and third Thursdays. This is a special talk show. I thought I would address Waverly Hills and some of the comments that were being made on there. So definitely check out our first and third Monday there in December. Jeez, it's almost Christmas. What's going on? Guess Thanksgiving's got to come up here before Christmas, but it's going to get here quick, guys. It's crazy. Time flies, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks everybody out there. I know I was kind of long-winded tonight and going off on a rant, but sometimes I do that. I will see you guys on the next one. Tiffany Remember says, did you get my donation on PayPal last live? I don't know, Tiffany. I'll have to check that. I'll personal message you and let you know about that. That's the thing too. Like, we don't even have, people are sending this star stuff, and we don't even have it set up. Like, I don't know where it's going. I don't know if Facebook's getting it or what's happening. So, but yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that star stuff and if we can get it disabled. But all right, have a good night, everyone, and we will see you on the next one.